Tuesday night Dynamite, not Dynamite to Light, because this is Title Tuesday, and we got some title changes, and one that was supposed to be handed back but did not. But before I get started, there's something I gotta say. I'm sorry guys, this may take a couple of minutes, but I gotta say this because it's not like I'm chewing the guy out, and I wanna make this clear. The one who left a comment on my Gump report, you left like 4 comments, thank you. I don't mind having a conversation with somebody. But I'm not going to let you get away with what you said. I'm not. Let's make this clear. I might leave the connection to my Gump report on, is John Cena the greatest of all time, the GOAT? The true GOAT. But let's make this clear. The guy generally wanted to say that John Cena wanted to turn face in 2012, but Vince didn't let him because of a Target deal. That's what he believes. He thinks that's what happened. This is what I'm saying, and the conversation we had between each other, and at one point, when I tried to explain to him, I did explain to him, that the way John Cena buried, my friend, whether you're male or female, it doesn't matter. You are trying to see the character of John Cena. You are not seeing the actual situation that was going on for many years with John Cena. You say John was a face through and through. He was not. He acted like a heel. The normal category of a wrestler who is a face and a wrestler was a heel. He was not. He was literally burying a lot of people, and he was acting heelish. He refused to follow the trend of what modern day pro wrestling faces were. He didn't just take the straight line. A lot of times he curved around the straight line and he did whatever a heel would do. Trying to beat the crap out of somebody to get what he wanted. Going against the rules when the rules were in his favor. He still turned against the rules, and this happened over years. And then the actual thing that was going behind the scenes, when you literally saw on screen wrestlers like a Bray Wyatt, a Heath Slater, a Bryan Danielson, or Daniel Bryan, several other people like Bray Wyatt. What do you want? You're saying that he was a face through and through when he was not a face through and through. He wasn't. You could see it on screen. One of the reasons why people were not satisfied with the company was because he did not follow the normal trends of a normal pro wrestler who was a face only. The closest he could be was a betweener like a Stone Cold Steve Austin, which he was not. He was monikered only as a face, a good guy. And Stone Cold can travel either way because that is the bottom line, because Stone Cold told you. Because he told you, I don't give a damn. I'm going to act any way I want. And John Cena didn't give a damn, but he never said, I'm going to act any way I want. I'm going to act like the good guy. So no matter what comment you leave below to justify what you said, the moniker of a heel by the IWC, what we received for a decade is someone who is titled a face but acted like a heel. Sorry guys, I had to do that. It needed to be done. Now, do I believe this person's going to believe me? No. Is he going to go against what I say, saying that pretty much it's not his fault if Vince didn't want to do it? No, he's not going to listen because literally Vince makes the final decision, but he still listens to his top talent. John was top talent, and if he wanted to stay a face, he would stay a face as long as it didn't interfere with business. In other words, what you just said, and I agree, that if it was a Target deal where the toys that are from WWE and John Cena being a good guy, and he didn't want to lose that Target deal, that they see him as a good guy that's selling good guy toys, and he literally wants to turn to a bad guy, which might mess up the deal, Vince is not going to change it. But the thing that you don't want to hear, John Cena started this, saying it in his own documentary that he saw when they were doing the attendance, when they did Raw and SmackDown, you saw more kids than anything. When he turned face, he asked Vince not to change him. And Vince, seeing that he was doing so well as a good guy, agreed and left it like that until today, which he still is the good guy that is a little better and more seasoned to at least act more like a good guy instead of acting like a bad guy. No matter how you put it, anybody will tell you John Cena was a bad guy from the mid 2000s up until he stopped wrestling and started doing movies. Let's start a little bit of Dynamite. I'm sorry, this 5 minutes. I had to do it. Let's go to number one contender for. Let me give it to like this. Knowing that this was the setup for Christian Cage, who opened the show, said, you should be thanking me that you're on Tuesday. You should thank me that you're going to get maybe about 45 minutes of no television interruptions. In other words, no ads. You had to thank him, which I did, because that was different. He was in the production room. He was in front of the camera, not in the ring. That showed that they learned something. Other than WWE, they would always do it there. Very rarely they would ever do it out of the ring. He was in the production area. He opened. No problem. This shows you how good of a heel he is. And we get the match between Bryan Danielson and Swerve Strickland was a good match. In the end, Swerve now wins the championship. But surprising, they were cheering for Swerve a lot. And where were they? I forgot where they were. I don't remember where they were. For some reason, I'm blanking. You can tell me below what city they were in and what state. I'm blanked. But, good match. In the end, it was not Swerve who won, which makes some sense. You don't want to put Swerve, who is a heel, up against a way better heel with Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne by his side, and a good possibility later in the year that you're going to have the mobile affiliates work with Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne, and a Christian Cage. You never know. So it's better to have Bryan Danielson there. There you go. Now, the match I was surprised about. Now, I remember them talking about you were going to have a Powerhouse Hobb versus a Christian. No problem. But I didn't expect Christian to be destroyed so handily. He got destroyed. Yes, Powerhouse Hobb did get nailed a couple of times. But it was about the domination of Hobbs. Working for the Don Callis family and as a part of the Don Callis family, he annihilated Christian. No, not Christian, but Chris. But seeing Chris Jericho in the back after it was over, and Daddy Magic, and surprising that Daniel Garcia said with Daddy Magic there, he says, what are we doing here? He says, I want to check up on him. Yes, I know we're not really with him, but come on, he's still someone I cared about. I still care. And he says, we already been through this guy. We don't want this anymore. He walks away, and then Garcia follows him. So it's interesting to see that even though the Jericho Appreciation Society is busted, you can still see on and off that now that Sammy is no longer the one in the corner of a Chris Jericho, it's now Daniel Garcia who's picking up that moniker now as a friend to Chris. Because that's going to be good for him, because he's still going to be dealing with the Don Callis family. He does need an ally. Does that mean Daddy Magic and Parker's going to be there? No. But it could be Daniel Garcia who takes up the position. And now you may have Daniel Garcia who's had a moment to be a face. Had a moment to be a good guy. And of course it went away from it. But now maybe as a good guy now, it might actually work. He'll still probably have the same attitude, but he's going to be in Chris's corner. And since Chris, with his internal injuries, was enough that he had to go to a hospital for examination, you're going to see something hopefully with Garcia. Let me give it to you like this. Do I believe it's going to work? Maybe. Maybe it might work. But at least they are doing something with Daniel Garcia in a storyline with Chris Jericho and the Don Callis family. That is not bad. Now, next, the match I did not expect to end the way it was. Rey Fenix versus Orange Cassidy for the International Championship. Really? Really? Let me get this straight. And don't get me wrong, it was a good match. It was. Even though they still showed injury, injury for a Rey Fenix. And that was the main thing that was causing the trouble for him, that he could not win. Excuse me. But I gotta say this. I'm shocked that they're willing to just throw it back on him. Now, mind you, if due to the fact of what happened to a Jon Moxley, I'm sure that he was supposed to get the title back from Rey Fenix. I think that's what this came down to, because Jon Moxley is still concussed. He's still got concussion. I truly believe this. This is what I think happened. Due to the fact that Jon got a concussion, I truly believe if Rey was supposed to win, it was going to be a Jon Moxley who was going to get it back, not a Orange Cassidy. But due to the fact that he's got a concussion, he can't wrestle until he's fully recovered. He's just there at the show. He's done commentary, which actually he's really good as a commentator. He breaks stuff down very thoroughly, a lot like Taz. I like that. I liked it. So if he can't wrestle anymore, if he becomes a commentator, I actually would agree with that. But until he can recover, they probably wasn't supposed to keep it on Rey Fenix that long, so now it's going to be Orange Cassidy. But here's the problem. What are you going to do with Orange Cassidy? You're going to do the exact same thing again? People were beginning to get tired of No. Now I'm putting Jon Moxley and Orange Cassidy together. And I think the reason why I'm doing this is that the only way this is going to work is because of what we saw after the match was over when he got that title back. Because I don't know if I'm putting images in. I don't think I am. But when he got this title in his hand, he started looking around like Gollum. Like, my precious. He gets out of the ring and he sees people going, he's going like this. He's going like that. He's acting jumpy. Like, this time around, I ain't letting nobody take this. So, if he's going to act more like paranoid, like, I got this sucker back. I don't care who you are. You come in, I'm going to go like this, and they're going to try and bat you in the face. That type of attitude would be a change in Orange Cassidy character that I want to see. Does that mean they're going to go there? I don't know. I don't know. Due to the fact that probably Orange Cassidy was never meant to be in that direction, I think Jon Moxley was the one who was supposed to get that title back from Rey Fenix. They were going to do a feud between the two. And I think they were going to probably set that up maybe a full year. Maybe. I know that's a bit away, but who knows? That might have worked. But since they can't, they gave it to Orange that maybe if they are going to change his character, make him a bit paranoid, a bit like Gollum, like, my precious. That, I would go for it. I don't know about anybody else, but that's me. Let's move on. Now, match. This wasn't a match. This was Wardlow destroying Matt Sydal. 4 power bombs, and he won because he couldn't respond. And then he walks out where the fans are. No more joking around. He's not doing the symphony like he's standing around after he does it and he waits for the crowd. Not anymore. He is destroying anyone. He does 4 power bombs. He doesn't give them time to recover. He'll do 5 power bombs if it's necessary, or 6. I think he hasn't done that. He's only done 4 or 5 maybe. But now they're having him just destroy people like a Goldberg. And Goldberg would just go in, spear someone, they're nailed, and then he just leaves. If that's what they're doing, I'll take it. This is how you do it. Unlike what happened with Marsha Slamovich, where they let her destroy people, but it didn't feel like it was a Goldberg type of rise. Here, it kind of does like her. In the beginning, when she first started destroying people in Impact, women like that, the problem was we didn't see her in the back. This is where it's going to be important for Wardlow. If they're doing the pretty much a Goldberg type of rise, they better show him in the back being stoic, that he's standing there or he's waiting to go out. Because that's what they didn't do with Marsha. That was the problem. Marsha never was seen in the back when she was in Impact to show how dangerous she was and scare people. That didn't happen. They just showed her once or twice and handed out yellow envelopes. Here, if, and that's an if, because it looks like they're doing the Goldberg thing, that he destroys someone, no attitude, no nothing, just destroys them, they can't get up, he wins the match and walks away, they must show him in the back. They must show him. He doesn't have to talk, he just got to be seen. The cameramen come near him like this. He does that to the cameraman, scares them. He's got to be terrifying. If they don't do it, then they're making a mistake. Let's move on. The fifth match. Jay White. What do I say and think about him and Hangman Page? It wasn't a bad match, but this wasn't about the match, because when it was all said and done and Jay White lost the match due to how bad the Bang Bang Gang was there, the Bullet Club Gold, this wasn't about Hangman. This was about the Triple B. This was about a MJF. Oh man, I think this is one of the best he's done in a while. Now, mind you, he's done a lot of good ones. Well, let me take this back. I shouldn't say it's the best. I do believe that as a face, he's had many promos that have been good. But this one felt more emotional is part of it, but poignant is seeing himself in Jay White, telling Jay White, look, I can see you're exactly like me, but the difference between you and me is that I gotta fight every urge to not be like you, and I hate it and it sucks, but I do see it's happening. And you, because he told him straight to his face, I've given you your match. You got what you want. Give me back the title. Earn it. You will become a champion. He says this. One day you become a champion. But not now. Give me back the title. Show you got some guts. Show respect to me. Show respect to these fans who I earned after learning that I don't have to be the way I am. I don't have to be exactly like you. I can be more. But honestly, and this is the thing that got me that was good, that he said during that promo that he is not too far from you. So here's Jay White. This is where he was, the same as Jay White. After turning face, he's now dropped down to about here. He's not a full heel. Being heel is here. This is the opposite. He's somewhere around here. He's like halfway between heel and face. He's still a heel, let's be honest. He's still a heel, but he's showing signs and understanding that he's a betweener. He still shows heelish tendencies, but he is also a face. He admits that he ain't clean. He's not a good guy. And as I said in the beginning of this video with John Cena, John never was a betweener, but he's acted like a heel. No matter how anyone wants to not say he was. He was. I am telling you, he was a heel that had the moniker of a face. But in this situation, it is clearly defined that he's not a heel. It's clearly defined he's not a face. He's far from a heel, but he ain't a total good guy, and he says it. I love this. I almost said that it was one of the best I've heard him say. And it comes pretty close. I mean, I heard him say some really good promos. Let's say it's right about here. And what made it very special for me is when it was nearing the end and Juice Robinson made it clear that he's going after the Dynamite Diamond ring. That there's going to be a battle royal. He's going after that ring. I think it was a battle royal. I think so. And he said, I'm going to have that. And once I beat you and make you suffer, he pulls out of his pocket a roll of quarters. And that set off MJF. That moment where he's supposed to be a betweener. Like here's a face. Here's a heel. He's somewhere around here. Floating between sometimes being a good bad guy, getting near bad. Other times he's a little bit more good. Or somewhere in the between. He elevated to here. He gave off the attitude of saying, you damn son of a bitch. You're going to do that. I'm going to do whatever it takes to destroy you. That was the old MJF. I'm going to get you, you damn son of a bitch. Fuck you. That's what he wanted to say. Knowing that, those quarters reminded him when he was a kid, when he was beginning to grow up, and kids just treated him bad. Especially when he had to do a job from the more rich kids. And he wanted to bust their heads open. That's where the MJF ended. he walked off not trying to get his title because he didn't have anybody. Now, later, we did get Caster, Bowman, and Daddy Ass show up when after Renee had asked him, what are you going to do? And he tried to call Adam, and he did get Adam, but Adam is still, another week there. This makes you wonder if he really is injured. Because suppose he spent a week over in Roderick's home doing everything, including mowing his freaking lawn on that scooter that his leg is on. And supposedly, Adam's supposed to have 2 surgeries now. I thought it was only 1. Now he's supposed to have 2. I don't know what it is. I do not think it's true, but he could still be hurt. But seeing that he tried to call Adam, he could not get anywhere with Adam because he's stuck with Roderick. And then you see Caster coming and said, look, we heard you needed help. If you want to get your title back, the Triple B, we can help you because Bullet Club Gold said they're going to do something. We'll back you up. And he doesn't want anything to do with Caster because Caster is kind of fiending for him. He's getting a little thirsty. Let's make this clear. Caster's acting a little thirsty. And Daddy Ass and Bowman's made clear, why are you doing this? Why? Why do you want to be around this guy? He's sus. And that's what Bowman says. It says, look, I've known Max for 10 years. We're friends. So we do hear that he is breaking a little bit of the fourth wall, that this is his first friend in Adam Cole, but in actuality, we get another friend. We get a Caster who's known him for 10 years, probably knew him in National Wrestling League. Guys, as I said, just in case for new people, a long time ago, around 2016 or 15, I did review on the National Wrestling League, KC. And the first time I saw MJF was 2015 or 16. He was roughly about 19 years old. He was in KC. Where was it? In, St. Louis, Missouri. They had moved around. They were in KC, but it was at St. Louis, Missouri that day. In the same place as Randy Orton was from. But it was basically National Wrestling League. It's from KC. But they basically, in this situation, they were in St. Louis instead of like Kansas City. And that's when I saw MJF for the first time. For me, I knew he was wearing the scarf. That what you see is what you got. Exactly the same stick he did then with the scarf was what he had years ago. And I knew he was something. I knew that he was meant to be something at 19 years old or 19 and 20 years old. So, fast forward here, we see this. And supposedly, going back to Caster, he's known him for 10 years. 10. So, this kind of goes full circle. For me personally, it's good to see they're doing this. And they did break a little bit of the fourth wall with Caster saying that he's his friend for 10 years and he likes him when he plays hard to get. So, let's move on to... Did I believe Saraya was going to lose to Hiroko Shida? Here, I'm botching Hiroko Shida's name on purpose because I cannot believe that they wouldn't let, and I gotta say this, I was watching it on TBS, and when they were going to show the Tony Storm picture show in black and white, I couldn't see it. I don't know about anybody else, but twice I couldn't see her vid pack of Tony Storm picture show in black and white. She's going like this, and she's dancing around, and we couldn't hear anything because commercials was running both times. And I got angry, and I'm going like, you know what? I have to go and find a stream because I was seeing it legitimately. And I'm trying to find somewhere so I can see it. Then I went over to Only Wrestling's YouTube channel. Maybe they may have it there. Nothing. Now, maybe later they'll show it, but I didn't see a damn thing. I wanted to hear what she was going to say in that picture show. I want to see what they're going to do. But only thing I saw was a little picture-in-picture. That sucked. That pissed me off. Honestly. But, taking away, the match was okay. It's not about the match quality. you see that Ruby Soho tried to help out a Saraya, but Saraya's screaming when she was getting in trouble. She says, "Where are you, Ruby, you little fat cow?" And I'm going like, oh my goodness. That's a Brit for you, baby. That is how they call people back then, and still do. That when they get pissed off at you, they're saying, "You damn fat cow." Isn't that what she got called? Pretty much. And that was interesting. But then you see, she came out, tried to use the spray in her hand, didn't work because Saraya stopped her. No, not Saraya, Hiro Kushida. You see, I'm getting mixed up because I didn't like this. Hiro Kushida did stop a Ruby. Then Ruby was stopped again, but it was by Toni Storm. But then you get Toni Storm losing her opportunity. Guys, Toni is the first true developed character AEW's ever created. Let's make this clear. Everybody else already had a character going in. This is the first one that we've seen that has actually morphed, because she was who she was when she left WWE. She created this 19s, 20s, 30s style of picture show type of diva. She's a diva. She's like Marilyn Monroe or the female actresses before her, like a Greta Garbo, or I can't remember most of these women back then, because my mother used to love watch TV and movies a lot when I was a kid. But she is a picture star, not a movie star. She's using black and white, and I'm sure that came up because of Darby Allin, because he liked doing black and white stuff. And she has been developing, but they now dropped the title to Hiro Kushida. Why? When you could have dropped it to a Toni Storm. Now what do we have? Now, unless she's going after Hiro Kushida, Toni doesn't have a chance to get the title back from Saraya, who took it from her unfairly and drove her insane in the first place. I don't get it. Now, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm missing so much, but I just don't agree with it. I don't know about anybody else. Next, the final match. Adam Copeland versus Luchasaurus. The talk of Christian Cage was good. Talking about Beth, talking about the girls was fine. Adam had a good match. And in the end, Adam won because Hangman Page came out to help a little bit. If I remember correctly, was it Hangman Page? No, I think that was... Yeah, I think it was Hangman Page. But we got a whole smoz of people. We got the Gates of Agony coming out. We got the Blackpool Combat Club coming out. We got Bryan Danielson coming out. Everybody was fighting one another. Swerve Strickland came out. Everybody started fighting each other outside. And I didn't mind. It was just something that's setting up for next week and this Saturday. There's nothing wrong with it. But the question is now, where did it go with Adam Copeland? And I'm very curious to see, because at this point, it's anything that he wants. Unlike WWE, where he may have some creative control, he's got total creative control with Christian to set whatever they want. And I'm hoping it's going to be good. But it's just me. And I hope you enjoy this Tuesday night Dynamite. Peace.